Hello, friends. What's your record for staying up? 24 hours? Maybe 48? The young man will talk about didn't sleep for 11 whole days. Impressive, isn't it? What came of it? Click on the bell and find out. At the end of 1963, two high schoolers from San Diego, Bruce McAllister and Randy Gardner, decided to conduct a very interesting experiment. McAllister later said that the project was just a product of teenage enthusiasm and the desire to explore the abilities of the human body. Without putting much thought into it, Bruce and Randy decided to set the world record for staying up the longest. The record was previously set by a DJ from Honolulu who didn't sleep for 260 hours. McAllister said that at first they wanted to find out if sleep deprivation can cause a person to develop some kind of paranormal abilities. When they came to the logical conclusion that such an experiment would not work, they decided to change their original goal to explore how sleep deprivation affects a person's cognitive abilities during a basketball game. The boys flipped a coin to decide who would be the subject. Luckily for Bruce, this role fell to Randy, and the experiment officially began. At first, the teenagers were too fearless, and Bruce planned on staying up as well in order to take effective notes. However, after 3 days, the young scientist found himself writing on walls in a half-conscious state. As a result of this, they decided to enlist the support of another school friend. In the end, he was replaced by an actual scientist, William Didn from Stanford University, who studied sleep disorders. At the time, nobody knew what long-term sleep deprivation could lead to, so he was extremely happy about the opportunity to take part in such an experiment. When the scientist arrived in San Diego, the teenager was already awake for a couple days. Randy was optimistic, but the longer the sleep deprivation lasted, the more unexpected were the results. The boy was periodically tested for his ability to taste and differentiate sounds. After some time, they began to notice deviations. He became very sensitive to smells, which wasn't the case previously. McAllister remembers when Randy said, "Don't make me smell that, I can't stand that smell." However, the teenager's basketball skills improved, but the researchers attribute that to Gardner spending a lot of time on the basketball court in order not to fall asleep. Dement says he was physically very fit, so we could always get him going by playing basketball or going bowling, things like that. If he closed his eyes, he would be immediately asleep. It was harder at night when there wasn't much to do and they couldn't really go anywhere. The observations continued. Every day, the experiment of the two high schoolers attracted more media attention. At one point, the research was the third most talked about story in the American press, right after the assassination of President Kennedy and a tour by the Beatles. Bruce McAllister recalls that despite the hype, most people regarded their research as childish, but its actual participants were very serious. In the end, after 264 hours without sleep, the record was broken and the experiment officially ended. You would think that after reaching their goal, Randy would finally be able to get some rest. However, right after the experiment was completed, Randy was taken to a naval hospital to study his brain activity. Later, Randy slept for 14 hours. His friend Bruce remembers that he would have likely slept longer, but woke up because he needed to use the bathroom. The results of the hospital examination showed that Randy's brain continuously fell asleep and woke up, distributing the load between different areas of the brain. At first, it was concluded that 11 days without sleep did not affect Randy physiologically, but later he began to suffer from insomnia and could not overcome it for a number of years. A lot of people wanted to repeat or even break Gardner's record, but representatives from the Guinness Book of World Records refused to register them, claiming that it was too dangerous for their health. That's a reasonable argument because prolonged sleep deprivation can be very dangerous. Randy's results are just a combination of stubbornness, luck, and a strong body. Experiments on rats showed that they died just after 14 days without sleep. That's why, under no circumstances should you try to repeat this. Well, that's it for now, friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.